Alright, welcome back to another Mask of Momentum video. Peter here, and today we're going to go over the top 8, specifically the quarterfinals of the calling in Memphis that just actually happened. This is Monday right after the event back home. Got off of work, was like, gotta calm down, you know, record some videos here, give some my analysis on this iconic weekend here for this event. Kano coming through. Myself finished 8-4 with Kano at this event, starting 7-1, 6-1 after day 1, and then was 7-1 at one point, and then the wheels kind of came off, but got that top 32 there with that 8-4. So cashed that event, and then finished it out with a Commoner gold foil top 8, but unfortunately threw a little bit, which is fine. But we're getting into this game. It's going to be Kano versus Aurora, Zach versus Brian here. So we got actually some a pretty interesting take here. Oh, that's really good. First the E-pot off the top. But looks like Brian actually came in with the Starfall. Zach blocked it with a 3 block. Primarily probably came in with that discharge and then came in with that shockwave doing 1 and 7, and then is going to make that embodiment and then pass the turn with the Kano flash here. Zach hit the E-pot instead of blocking that extra, like either the Arcane or the extra 1 physical on there with that Kano activation. Took 1 damage for the opportunity of hitting a pot early, and does. Specifically, this matchup is usually not the best for Kano. Aurora has a lot of indications to be able to pack Spell Void in their deck, right? But if we look at the Aurora side specifically, there is no Spell Void. Just AB3 has Balance of Justice, which is going to allow him to draw a card if Floodgates hits and allows Zach to draw 2 cards, but there's no Spell Void. So that Wildfire can come in if Brian doesn't have a blue pitch, can come in from the max value as well. Saw Zach play some Kano in the middle of some of the rounds that I was watching. I sat next to him a couple times, didn't get to play the mirror against him like I did. I got to play mirror a couple times, but didn't get to play it against him. Looked like he knew what he was doing a lot of the time, and was actually happy to see a lot of fellow Kano players up there. Zach, very meticulous of how he plays, is going to tap that Crucible and come in with less than 11 for 4. Brian does have the blue pitch here, brought in those Warmongers. The Warmongers aren't going to be able to be casted in this game, but they are good blues. Basically, every single time that you can put blues in your deck versus Kano, it is probably pretty acceptable. Usually Aurora plays, you know, some number of Warmonger Diplomacies in the sideboard, maybe a couple main board, gone back and forth on a couple lists myself. But sometimes they have Poison the Well in the sideboard as well, in case they think CYB decks are going to be pretty prominent, which are all like blues that you can put in. Oh, and has a second blue in his hand, so a double blue in his hand. Pitched it for the, got less than a level off the first one, casted the second one, but kind of got completely stopped there. Doesn't get to do anything with it. We know there's a Kano flash in the arsenal here. We're looking at we got Discharge and Rabble in hand, so good starting off with probably this Kano flash here from Brian here, coming in with that 4 with Go Again off the embodiment. Is going to be able to hit for 4 here, most likely, and then bounce it with that Discharge. Zach, importantly, has an arsenal here and already has an E-pot here, so could combo on this turn, but Kano started blocking. You know he's not going to be blocking, not going to be going for the combo here if he starts off the turn with a block. And then boom, perfect sequencing by Brian here, and he hits right off the top. It's going to be 7 Go Again off the Rabble. We see the Scarver Scar. Scarver Scar is pretty interesting. You're probably never going to be lower than the Kano specifically in this game, unless they already go for a combo or something drastically goes wrong early, okay? So it's just going to be another random 0 for 4 in his deck. But Zach really not considering going for anything on this turn. Blocked with the Floodgate on the first Kano flash, and then double blocked the second one for 6. Only took 1, so got out of this turn with only leaking some minimal damage. Has 1 card left in his hand. If that last card in his hand is a pot, ooh, and it's an E-pot, looking pretty good here from from Zach if he has a combo piece in the arsenal, just kind of looking for a second combo piece here. I know Zach is playing specifically with clarity potions in his list. Personally, not one of the favorite cards I like playing in my Kano decks, but I know a lot of other people have success with that clarity potion. I haven't had success with it, but I know a lot of other people have, and he's chose to run it this weekend. But has a good start here with a double energy potion, has a card in his arsenal, has that Spellfire Cloak ready as well. Didn't go for the tunic here, but we actually have a really interesting play here. Gone in Flash, Raw for 4 attack here. What does Brian have cooking? Doesn't have go again, just attacking for 4. Maybe a little bait out here, maybe some Lightning Greaves trick. Zach doesn't have a hand that he wants to send either on this turn. There's no block for 3, only take 1, and we're going to give up the AB1 on the boots on this turn here from Brian. Very, very aggressive play. We see that he has a Rebel in his hand. He could have went with a little bit of the safer play and started with the Rebel on this turn. Maybe done a couple of other things different, but we look a little bit closer in his hand. We got a Rabble, we have a Gone Flash. Ooh, Rebel hitting a yellow off the top. It's going to be just coming in for 3 here. We got another 3 block here from Zach. We're playing it pretty slow. And then we got that 2 go again off the Starfall, pitching that Gone Flash. And then we know we have that Snatch in hand is going to be that last card from Brian here. Going to have that on hit at the very last. Zach blocks the Starfall. He won't be able to double block the very last, but he does block the Starfall here. Only keeping 1 card in his hand. He's already blocked for 3 cards. Snatch for 4 here. This is probably going to hit from Brian. Does hit with that non-block from Zach. We're going to put that Arc Lightning into the arsenal here. It's going to be pretty nice. Zach coming through, thinking with that one more card. Do we have another potion from Zach? We went back-to-back potions. One on turn 0. He played another one. Ooh, and the clarity potion coming from the arsenal. That's what he had put in there. Zach having a new arsenal here and drawing up 4. Very, very particular of how he draws up his cards. Doesn't want to accidentally there. I think I saw the edge of a Aether Wildfire here from Zach, but Brian gets that embodiment of lightning that he got from playing the Sigil last turn, but blew up his boots to do this. Aurora doesn't have a lot of blues. We've already seen 3 blues from Aurora, which is usually like a third of the max amount of blues that they ever play. Some lists have been cutting a massive amount of blues at like the entire time. So we have an embodiment of lightning, but we're going to start off with the Arc Lightning here. It's going to do 1 damage as well. Even though we have a go again from the embodiment of lightning, we're going to get it again from the Arc Lightning. But we're going to start pinging for 1 here. Zach has a pretty interesting decision line here. Are we going to try to block out a decent amount on this turn? Are we going to try to go for it? Ooh, double Arc Lightning here. One of them an EA, one of them non-foil. I'm not saying that he needs to buy more after this top 8, but he did get a lot of cash here. Brian, if you're listening, I buy some more EAs. It'd be pretty cool. You know, you already got, use some of that prize money, bling out your deck. I know you got like a half bling going right now. Commit to the full bling. You got the Marvel, bro. Looks cool. You got a top 8 with Aurora. You got to keep doing it. All right, let's go. We got the double Arc Lightning here, coming in for 2 arcane damage. So first got the 1 ping, got a double ping on the second one. This is going to be 4 go again with a double ping coming after. So we're presenting so much damage on this turn. We're going to reaction here. We have a Somersault as well to bring back that Lightning Surge. Somersault actually just got a little bit of a micro buff because of the change of kind of how rules apply in the damage step. You can kind of cast it later. I don't know how relevant it's going to be, but it is pretty cool to see. But we got another double ping. We got 2 go again here off the Starfall with another double ping. Brian thinking about if he sends the last card in his hand, that would be that Lightning Surge. Problem is he blew up that AB1. He only has red in hand. We know it's the Lightning Surge coming back from the Somersault. So he probably is just going to send the 4 here, if I had to guess. Try to put his opponent down to 3. Maybe he lives through the combo turn if Zach can't go through it. But Zach has double E-Pot and Clarity Potion with a full 4-card hand plus his arsenal. Zach reaching for the Clarity Potion. I think we got a pass from Brian here. Maybe trying to go there. Zach gonna pop the Clarity Potion. We're gonna opt to. This one's not the most played one. We see double blue. We see the Arsenal Disruption one and an Overflow. That lets us know if we do Ragamuffin's hat on this turn. Okay, so we have Sonic Boom, double blue, Wildfire here. If it's specifically Blazing in the Arsenal, this is actually very good to double keep on top, which I think Zach did. What you can do here is we can double pitch this Sonic Boom here. Have two floating. Kano the first time. We can Kano a second time. We can Ragamuffin's hat. Draw the Arsenal one. Arsenal blue. And then we can banish the Overflow. Overflow, whenever it hits, is you're going to get 2 resources back. So basically, you're only -1 resourcing to Overflow, which is going to get you a double, like even a triple spell sometimes, in the middle if the last card in the Arsenal is Blazing specifically. Also, we have double E-Pot, so we can Kano more and more times this turn. We can even do a Lesson of Lava from Arsenal. That is also something that we can do if that is an option. Just depends on whatever the Arsenal specifically is going to be here. If it's Blazing, if it's Lesson of Lava, if it's another 2-cost spell here. The very interesting thing is he is playing Sonic Boom, which is kind of a non-ball with the Clarity Potions and adding more potions to your deck. But if you Clarity Potion first... Okay, yeah, he did draw the blue Destructive Aether Tide off here. Is going to Metacarpus Node the Wildfire as well. So it's probably... Ooh! With the Kindle, actually, from Arsenal. So that's going to pump the Wildfire again. It's going to draw that additional blue. It's going to be that Overflow, remember. And now this Wildfire is going to come in for 7. We got the pump from the Crucible, the pump from the Node, and a pump from the Kindle. It's going to be 7 coming at him with that Wildfire. Brian looking at a pretty bad situation here. Only has a red in hand. Can't even AB this Wildfire. So going to have to take the full 7 here. Going all the way down to 32. See what else Zach wants to do, if he wants to do anything. There, Zach is going to actually Kano before this Wildfire. Zach, what is on top? The Scour. Ooh. Bad thing with Scour is that it does 0 damage. If you don't know, Scour needs a target. It needs to have at least X = 1, or it won't even get a buffed effect. Spells have to, like X spells literally have to have at least 1 point. It can't be an X = 0 and get buffs from Metacarpus Node, from Crucible, or from Wildfire. It has to have a target. Okay. We're threatening to actually have a whiff on the Wildfire turn here, which is pretty bad. We're in E-Pot again. Oh, that does not look like somebody that is happy from Zach. That looks like he hit a gem, a Kindle, something there. I'm very surprised. Okay, so I know that we had the Kindle specifically in the Arsenal. So you do want to keep that double blue, but you don't get to Overflow specifically. So we're kind of just going for it here. It's pretty interesting. He is at 7, so he couldn't really live another turn. So going for it here is pretty good. But if we know this is just going to be Wildfire for 7 here, we have the brick on top. The Scour doesn't hit anything, so it's just going to be 7 damage to the Aurora. Go to 32. Does not look good from Zach here. Doesn't even look like he's going to pump it with the nodes here. Is just going to go for 6 here. Knows that he can't pump it. Doesn't have another spell on top. Can't go with the Scour. Scour, very interesting in this matchup, bringing it in, by the way. Trying to hit those embodiments coming from the Aurora side. But this is the hard part. As you see, hits the whiff off the top with the Scour. Scour doesn't do any damage. Oh, now Zach is asking the question that we're all wondering. Asking if it's still going to get buffed by the Wildfire. It won't. I can kind of skip through here until we know. You have to have a target. With Scour, X equals has to be at least 1. We know that does nothing. The Kano activation is going to look at the same card on top. Looks like it's going to be a gem. Can't see the outline of it there. Although, so Brian actually goes with keeping that in his arsenal here. Just gonna start with the 4, go again in the next turn. Zach, painful. I've been there multiple times. Just can't hit that. I hit a Scour off the top playing against Vincent versus Chris E. Ollie, and it was the Eye of Ophidia off the top. Eye of Ophidia, such a powerful card, but is a whiff. You have to play 5 whiffs in the deck. Now, with Kano, you got the double gem, the will, and the eye, and then you got the 3 kindles. Already saw one of them, but unfortunately, on the combo turn, there was the brick off the top. We're starting with that Lightning Surge red from Arsenals before go again. There's 2 options in this situation as a Kano player. You can either really hope you have the E-Pot, you have the Spellfire, you got an additional 3 resources on that turn, you still have your Storm Shredders. You can either try to combo on this turn, or you can try to block out a little bit and maybe get a lucky Arsenal. Okay, so we did have the 4 go again. This is going to be 2 go again, so this is actually not lethal here. But this is going to be Current Funnel. This is going to come in for 2 go again. You don't really see Current Funnel getting played too often from these Aurora decks. It is basically a Starfall. But it gets go again. If there's going to be another lightning attack, it is going to give the next action card go again as well. So it's 2 go again. Then this is going to be that break point on the 4. This is going to be the real test. Does Zach want to try to block out this turn? He's at 1. He needs to double block this. But because he didn't block out the Lightning Surge for 3 here, he's not that healthy. So he does have to double block this, or he's not going to go for it. Does have Eye of Ophidia in his hand. This is the best, last turn was the best chance he had to trying to win the game, but maybe he can kind of scrape. You have the E-Pot, you have the Spellfire Cloak. Maybe you can somehow hit maybe Wildfire, something else on the top. It looks at Blue Overflow, looks at Will of Arcana, so we're getting both gems. Okay, we have the Open the Floodgates in hand, but we don't have Ragamuffin's hat, but we do have Storm Shredders, so he could Storm Shredders out, open the Floodgates if he really wanted to, and draw these 2 blue cards. Or does he want to go for a blind flip? Put both of these to the bottom. Looks like he's ruining his deck. Yeah, he's going to put both of them to the bottom. He's going to have to try to blind flip into this at this point. Top of the deck did not really work out for him. Which just another 2 blues. We're going to look at the Kano. Ooh, Gaze the Ages. Gaze the Ages is a good, nice hit. Does mean that you have to keep basically activating Kano or play another spell before it. And asking what Gaze the Ages does. It is a very interesting card. There's not a lot of cards like that in the Kano deck anymore. He's not going to cast it, but he's going to give it over there. Zach, thinking about it again. Do you want to Floodgates here? And then in response to the Floodgates, you could Gaze the Ages to see what you would draw off the Floodgate if it did hit. But the problem is, you can only buff it 2 times. Your opponent has AB2, has 2 cards in hand, so you know it's going to be. That's why I kind of liked keeping. Maybe you will. No, couldn't have hit then. Had to bottom that. Gaze it. We kind of just have to Kano another time. We have to look at what the top card is. Zach slowly realizing doesn't have many outs in this game. Has to make it work right now. He's going to put the Potion of Deja Vu. Is in a Storm Shredders here. No Crucible Pump here. Is just going to cast the Floodgates for 3 on the Metacarpus node. Is going to Gaze here. So, okay. This line is really good if he hits Wildfire specifically off the top with Gaze. Zach really, really hoping to get a little bit more lucky here after getting unlucky the entire game. Zach looking. Does not look like he hit that well. Looks like a clarity potion in the top 2 and another card. Can't really catch up and see what the last card there is. Zach does not look happy. He's kind of doing some math in his head. Right now, the Open the Floodgates is not hitting. Needs to see if he can have additional buff effect. We know Brian at least has AB2 in his hand for that chess piece. So that Floodgate couldn't hit even if he Crucibled and Metacarpus Node it. Put them both on the bottom. Both on the bottom. Neither of those cards help him. Zach looking for the out on this game. Basically, specifically needs to hit Aether Wildfire to be able to buff the Open the Floodgates as well, and maybe trying to get some miracle hits here. Kano here. Oh my god. It's Kindle. It's a Kindle. Zach, absolutely brutal Kano activations on the top of the deck for Zach. Another whiff. First the Eye of Ophidia, then the Kindle. Opted 4 times this turn, found nothing on all 4, but just had to keep going. Uses the Metacarpus Node, use the Spellfire, buff this up to 4. Brian actually took... Wait, did he just take it? He took the 4 here, allowing him to draw 2 cards. If you just prevent it, he can't draw. There's no chance. Zach with maybe a breath of life here with his opponent not knowing he wouldn't draw the 2 cards. If he just AP2'd it, he has the micro chance because the surge hit. Pitches blue-red. Not a good start here. This is always the question too. Do you let the Kano activation resolve? Or do you Kindle first? But he just... Okay, so maybe he wanted the balance trigger, but if he just pitched for 2, the 4 attack on the chain would kill him. Okay, so he's going to Kindle before the Kano activation resolves. Draws. It's a red spindle. Doesn't really do much here. Kano activation doesn't resolve. There's not really many outs he has at this point. Looks like it's a Sonic Boom. What can you do here? What can you do? What possible outs do we have at this point? You could pop E-Pot for 3 resources. You have... The only way you can get out is like Sonic Boom hitting Floodgates, pumping it. Your opponent still doesn't AB the Floodgates. Floodgates hit something else, and maybe you can go for it. But we're Crucibling the Sonic Boom is going to hit for 4, so we don't even have that out. So we're looking at like Sonic Boom into Sonic Boom into... Because we already pitched 1 Sonic Boom. So you can only hit 2 Sonic Boom max. So this Sonic Boom, maybe 1 more Sonic... Oh, okay, so now we're ABing this one, but we won't AB the one that draws some cards. Hidden Gaze. Gaze is going to opt to. We're completely dead. We're dead in the waters. There's no 0-cost tomes. Can't do anything else. He sees Aether Wildfire and another Kindle. We're completely dead in the water here. The Gaze is going to go back to his hand. He's in the Kano. He's going to banish the Wildfire. He's going to extend his hand to Brian. Brian getting the win. The Aurora in to the top 4. Really unlucky from the Kano side. Hate to see it. As a Kano enjoyer, as a Kano player, you hate to see that many whiffs off the top. But it's the price to play the game. You know, what all I say with Kano is that you may be hidden early. You may be doing well. The variance may be on your side. But eventually it does catch up to you. And it just matters if it catches up to you in Swiss, like it did to me, or if it catches up to you in top 8. Well, that's going to be it for the quarterfinals here. Aurora moving on to the top 4. I'll see you guys in the next episode where we're going to go over the semifinals. See you then.